right, let's take this opportunity while the fighters meet at the center of the ring to take a look at the tail of the tape. A look at the numbers for today's fight. And you're going to find both these fighters remarkably simple. Rule will be in effect. The standing 8 is not. And a fighter cannot be saved by the bell in any of the rounds. Our referee for today's bout is Tony Orlando. And our 3 scoring judges, 2 are from Panama, Rogelio Perez, Nicasia Drake, and Luis Rodriguez from Venezuela is the 3rd judge. And there is the bell, and round 1 here for the WBA lightweight title is underway.
Dan, a couple of things to watch for. First of all, Anthony Baby Jones on the right of your screen in the famed Franc Gold is very, very adept at switching. He's a natural right-hander, as you see him start right there, but he can effortlessly and very fluidly switch into a southpaw stance. And when Stewart told us when we talked to him yesterday that Baby Jones is the only fighter he's ever allowed to do that. He generally tries to discourage fighters from doing that, but Jones does it so well he lets him do it.
A good scoring right, that time by Rosario. Talking to Jones about the southpaw right, he says he doesn't even think about it. There he is in his southpaw stance.
Some people might say, well, Rosario's had a lot of trouble with southpaws, especially Jose Luis Ramirez, and that's true. I think Edwin's also had trouble with fighters who stuck and moved and stayed away from his power. And I think that would be a better strategy for Anthony Jones to employ. He can't stand there like that because he'll just get destroyed.
Rosario actually holding Jones from behind.
The other thing we should point out is that Edwin Rosario twice early in his career, before his first title fight and during his first title fight against Jose Luis Ramirez, broke his right wrist. And that's always something, if you had that serious an injury, it's always something to watch for.
Rosario told us that if Jones switches a lot, his weapon of choice will be the big right hand. You saw it right there, scoring twice with the right, the second time snapping the head of Jones back.
And Anthony Jones just looks lethargic here. He's going to have to get some zip in his punches, some crisp punches. He can't just pull with his punches as he is right now.
Well, he would be an exceptional human being, talking about Anthony Jones. If he wasn't a bit, I guess the proper word would even be just totally shell-shocked by being in the ring with a man of the caliber of Edwin Rosario. It's totally unexpected. Oh, and a strong right by Rosario, and is fouled up with a left.
And Jones is fighting back, and he's landing some punches. I just think this is a bad strategy. I mean, he's playing Rosario's game. Edwin Rosario would have to be terribly, terribly destroyed a shot fighter to be able to not take advantage with his power of Anthony Jones in this kind of a toe-to-toe slugfest.
Inside the final 30 seconds of the first round, with Jones not actually being pressed against the ropes, but willing to just stand and trade punches with Edwin Rosario.
And right away we have to say Rosario has landed his share of power punches, and Anthony Jones is still there.
Anthony Jones has been giving Rosario the head, and you're right, they've landed and haven't appeared to do a great deal of damage, but this is early, the end of round 1.
And you handled them well.
Trickle of blood from the nose of Balthazar from all of those jabs he's taken. Tim, just a great performance by 2 valiant guys. Boy, no question. Both of these guys have all the courage in the world. McGirt getting off the floor, and Balthazar taking a million punches from McGirt. And 2 more there. Final seconds of the fight. There'll be no knockout. And that's it.
They've got a hard punching journeyman named Martin Kiro.
But again, it's Jones just standing flat-footed in the center of the ring in a slugfest with Rosario.
And surprising to me, Emmanuel Stewart told Baby Jones in the corner that the key to the fight is backing Edwin Rosario up. That he can't let Rosario come forward, and that is obviously the reason that Baby Jones is standing there and training. He's trying to back Rosario up.
Which plays right into one of the things that Rosario told us, that one of the things he's been working hard on is staying off the ropes. It's been a problem for him in the past. And yet, it's Anthony Baby Jones just standing flat-footed, takes a good shot to the belly.
See, Anthony Jones pushing those punches, not snapping them. There, a little bit more on the straight left.
And that was
he
a good
got
scoring
Rosario's
punch.
attention with that punch.
Sure did. You could see Rosario rock back a bit. Jones better watch overextending on that left to the body. That's the second time so far that he's missed it. The first time, the first round, he really paid the price with a snapping right from Rosario. Oh, and another right by Rosario. But again, Jones comes right back. Doesn't appear to be fazed by these punches. It is either a lack of respect for Edwin Rosario or not a wise game plan. Take your pick. We'll certainly answer that question as this fight goes on. Oh, good right that time, and these two are just trading scoring blows.
Neither man just seems to be cracking with their punches. They just don't have the snap. That's not surprising from Anthony Jones because he's not known as a puncher, but Edwin Rosario certainly is.
Rosario's trademarks the short, compact, powerful punches from in close. He's not a long-range bomber, you know, a la Bobby Ches or someone like that.
Again, Anthony Jones, you saw that switching. And southpaw just took a step back and became orthodox right-hander again. I don't know whether that's confusing Edwin Rosario, but he is not dominating this fight the way we expected. Not even close.
Anthony Jones showing a distinct lack of respect for the two-time lightweight champion by willing to slug it out with him.
We said at the top that one of the keys for Anthony Jones had to be getting Edwin Rosario's respect, and I think he's done that.
There goes Rosario's mouthpiece. They continue to fight, but we're at the end of the second round.
By unanimous decision, James
Buddy McGirt, no surprise winner on the unanimous decision. The judges seeing it virtually the same way Gil and I did. Can we get Buddy down here? Got all his brothers around him. Tony Balazar.
We're back for round 3. Just to note, you saw Rosario lose his mouthpiece at the end of the second round. It was actually his own shoulder that knocked it out in throwing a punch. It wasn't any sort of a punch from Anthony Jones.
Well, that's generally a sign that he had his mouth open. He was trying to get air, and that's not a good sign at the end of round 2 for Edwin Rosario. It's funny, this is a fight where a good right hand and a good counter. Right hand by Jones and right hand counter by Edwin Rosario.
But again, it is Anthony Jones pressing the action.
And he is backing up Edwin Rosario.
A good combination that time by Jones. Only one or two have really gotten in and done much damage. Pretty effective defense by Rosario.
And our fears at the top of the fight, Dan, that Anthony Jones was going to get steamrolled, do not look at this point like they're going to come true.
Oh, and a solid right lead that time by Rosario. But it is clearly a different game plan than one might have expected by Anthony Jones.
Watch the confusing style of Anthony Jones. Southpaw right there. Right-handed there. Watch how he comes off the ropes. It just depends, but now he's a southpaw. Very difficult to pick it up because he does it so well. The other fighter, obviously, of this era who did it great was Marvelous Marvin Hagler. Now he's right-handed.
Of course, Anthony Jones out of the Crump stable in Detroit. There is Emmanuel Stewart in his corner, the mentor of the Crump group, who's spending a lot of time lately with Thomas Hearns.
And his strategy for this fight really surprises me. The mouthpiece of Rosario is out again. I must admit, I thought he'd have Jones boxing.
And a good snapping right jab by Jones when he's in that southpaw stance.
But you can't quarrel with the success so far because Anthony Jones is in this fight. I just didn't think with a minute left in round 3, fighting this kind of a fight, that Anthony Jones could be.
Oh, punch out. Let go of his head. Let go of his head.
Edwin Rosario was quick to tell us how hard he's been training for this fight, but the mouthpiece out for the second time in successive rounds. Doing a lunging shot that time by Jones, and he was quick to get back.
You see, Anthony there, that right hook from the southpaw stance, he's really not, if he had some snap on those punches, really committed to him and got some leverage, he could be doing even more damage.
Doing good work that time by Rosario. He went with a the combination and the right scored, but every time Rosario lands a solid punch on Jones, he comes right back in a good combination by Jones.
And he made Edwin Rosario's legs go funny. He's got him a healing out punishment.
And Edwin Rosario back on the ropes. This is the end of the third round, and we're going to stay between rounds. And good work by Anthony Jones.
You'll get a sweet deal during Sweet Deal Days at Big Sur Water Baths. The Denmark Sweet, crafted from oak solids and veneers, is less.
We listened to the Anthony Jones corner with Emmanuel Stewart in the Edwin Rosario corner. Lalo Medina, his trainer, said, "What's the matter? You're fighting today, not tomorrow. Let's get in this fight right now."
Anthony Jones getting some swelling above his left eye.
That's right. You saw Ralph Citro in the Jones corner putting the end swell, the cold piece of metal, trying to control the swelling in that eye.
And the eyelid beginning to puff noticeably over the left eye of Anthony Jones. You can see it right there. Jones in the gold trunks. Edwin Rosario in the dark blue or purple.
Again, Rosario trying to hold and hit. Jones backing him up. I am really shocked. And if you ask a question, Dan, about how this could happen, there are two answers, and maybe it's a combination of this and something else. One, Edwin Rosario looks like a shot fighter. Based upon the abilities and skills he had before, he is not close to that level. And secondly, he did have a tremendous weight loss to get in shape for this fight. His trainer said he was as high up as a middleweight, 160 pounds, before he came down to the 135-pound limit. So that may have depleted the zip in his punches and his strength. Good left-hand counter by Jones.
And Anthony Jones just standing in tight, eschewing any sort of ring movement whatsoever, just slugging it out with Edwin Rosario and doing far better than anyone would have thought.
You know what this reminds me of? Jeff
Harding,
Dennis Andre. That's right. We had a couple of weeks ago from Atlantic City also. You had a veteran champion against an unknown young kid.
A substitute, if you will. John Duplessis drops out of this fight. Donnie Lalonde retired suddenly before that fight.
Right. I don't know if it'll have the same ending, but the scenario is the same.
Again, look at the good inside work by Anthony Jones.
He's busier, and he's more accurate. Tough to miss when you're this close.
One of the things that we'll have to watch closely will be the eye of Anthony Jones. Action here in the fourth round, inside the final 30 seconds. And Alex, I think back to what you talked about before the fight, about Edwin Rosario, what a difficult fight this is for him. He has everything to lose and very little to gain.
Well, to be honest, I didn't think it would be this difficult. I thought he would win the fight. I'm really, it is a no-win fight. And right now, he doesn't look to be in a position to win it.
Anthony Jones surprising everyone, but probably himself. Anthony Jones having that end swell applied above his left eye in between rounds. Emmanuel Stewart telling his charge that make Rosario go backwards. He's only effective when he moves forward. Jones is showing that has some credibility here so far through the first 4 rounds, of which Anthony Jones, Alex, has looked exceptionally good the last 2.
Thought he won the last 2. But that eye really does look bad. It looked worse in between rounds than I thought it was, Dan. As you said, the eyelid is swollen, and they're going to have to control that to give Anthony a chance. Even if the Rosario right doesn't seem to have the same zip, you got to be able to see it. You got to be able to get out of the way of it.
Edwin Rosario, there you saw that right flick the chin, but just doesn't seem to have a lot on it. Rosario's punches seem to be getting in, but just don't seem to be exacting a toll on Anthony Jones. Oh, there was a good right counter by Rosario. Now it's Rosario attempting to put Jones on the ropes.
Jones is on the ropes. He's got nothing on those punches, but they are scoring punches and nothing coming back from Edwin Rosario. A couple of missed shots, one block, one there.
Just about halfway through the 5th round. Here at the Showboat in Atlantic City. I'm Dan Deerdorf along with Alex Malo. We'd like to alert our ABC stations that at the conclusion of this round, we're going to be taking a station break. Blew in a good right that time. Half glove, half face by Anthony Jones. Alex, much more of a slugfest than we thought it would be.
Yeah, it's a slugfest, but those men have, don't have a full load in the cannon. I mean, I'm just amazed that Edwin Rosario can hit that many clean shots at Anthony Jones and not have more effect. You see Jones's eye right there on the head of Edwin Rosario. He should try to protect that eye a little bit.
Rosario, you see him loading up with more right. A couple of them have gotten in, and now he's got Jones up against the ropes again. And Jones effectively spins out. And again, both fighters wailing away.
Dan, if that eye continues to swell, Anthony Jones might have to fight much more as a southpaw to have his lead eye vision in his lead eye.
That's a great point, Alex. We'll see if he does it. Well, Flint Small Liquor Professional Boxing will continue here from Atlantic City after this word from our ABC station. And action is underway here in the 6th round. We're at the Showboat Hotel and Casino on the boardwalk. Edwin Rosario wearing the blue, Anthony Baby Jones in the gold, and they're fighting for the vacant WBA lightweight title vacated by Julio Cesar Chavez.
It's a funny fight. You feel like Rosario, because of his reputation, his record as the champion here, and Jones is the challenger, but that isn't the case, and they're not necessarily fighting that way either. It looks pretty even right now. I thought Edwin Rosario had a little bit better round than last round and won it. A very close scoring.
Yeah, the 5th round for Rosario, at least in my estimation, I agree with you, Alex, was certainly better than either the 3rd or the 4th.
The Rosario corner in between rounds, really just work, work, work. You have to throw punches.
A little bit of a veteran boxer there in Rosario, grabbing with the right arm and continuing to punch with the left.
And in that shot, you see the swelling under Edwin's right eye. A little bit of swelling under his left. There was the left eye that closed totally against Chavez.
Oh, and a good fake with the left that time by Rosario. And again, the right scores. He keeps flicking out that left jab, but then following it up with a right that found the mark 2 or 3 times in a row against Jones.
And it could be that Jones just has trouble seeing that right coming because of the swelling in his left eye.
The swelling, which is over the left eye of Jones, the lid itself is puffed. Does it? Oh, and a good right. And down goes Jones. Edwin Rosario brings in the big right.
6, 7, 8.
Antonio Orlando's going to have to look very close.
You all right? Okay.
Anthony Jones is still wobbling, and I'm not sure how much longer he's going to make it this way. No, that's it. Tony Orlando stops it. Edwin Rosario wins the WBA lightweight title. With Alex, a huge right hand.
That was the right hand that we expected much earlier. He landed so many of them. It was amazing that he was able to come up with it that late in the middle rounds of a fight. Where it was in the early rounds, I don't know, but he found it and come a lightweight time.
I want to remind everybody to stick around that we are going to bring you a fight from last night, the Rene Jucot John Mugabe fight. But first, here is the first knockdown.
Watch the right hand. A vintage Edwin Rosario right. Back in the rack foot, and boom. That is a classic right cross.
And Anthony Jones somehow got up, gathered himself, and just a few seconds later...
That right just clipped him on the chin to left, and Tony Orlando came in and stopped him.
And very wisely stopped it. Anthony Jones was dead on his feet.
Yeah, I think it was questionable whether he should have let him out. He asked
agree.
about 3 or 4 times whether he wanted to continue.
Actually, Alex, when he got up from the knockdown, he needed the ropes to keep himself upright. There was a question mark there whether Orlando should have stopped it there. You can see again the swelling over the eye that we thought would be a factor, but...
It's over and under right now. Dr. Frank Doggett looked at him. He's conscious. He looks fine. As fine as you can look.
Yeah. Edwin Rosario made sure that that eye did not come into play. So Edwin Rosario wins his 3rd lightweight championship. Again, the WBA version. We'll be back with a decision and an interview in just a moment. Okay, let's go up now to the ring. Announcer Jim Murata for the decision.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Kim,
here is the time of the
we got to get this kid down for an interview.
2 minutes exactly of the 6th round. Referee Tony Orlando stops it. The winner by technical knockout and the 3rd time as lightweight champion of the world, Edwin El Chapo Rosario. Edwin Rosario.
Alex, here he is.
Alex Swallow is up in the ring, and we'll get a decision in just a moment. First of all, I'd like to remind you that Schlitz Malt Liquor is presenting a check for $1,000 to the Atlantic City Stanley Homes Village work team. That will be in the name of today's winner, and of course that is Edwin Rosario. And there's a look at Edwin Rosario. And Alex right now is with the new champion. Alex?
Edwin. Dr. Manuel Garcia, the interpreter here. Edwin speaks pretty good English. Much better than my Spanish. Yeah, poquito. Edwin, was it much tougher than you expected?
Digo, sí, la esperaba a sí mismo.
He said he expected a very tough fight.
In the early rounds, it seemed that you landed a number of good punches, but they didn't seem to have the zip that Edwin Rosario normally has in his punch. Were you surprised up until the 6th round that he was able to stand up to your punch?
En los primeros asaltos te pareció que le diste con buenos golpes, pero a pesar de eso, pues los aguantó. ¿Pensaste que lo ibas a poder sacar o que iba a tomar tiempo?
Bueno, no, lo importante no es que los aguantó en los primeros asaltos, que los haya aguantado después.
He said that the important thing is that it's not really that he took him at the first, but at the last, you know, that he couldn't take him.
Were you surprised that the right-hand power came back like it did in the 6th round all of a sudden?
¿Te sorprendiste que el poder de la mano derecha tuya vino de pronto en el 6º asalto? Después de haberle dado con esa misma derecha.
Bueno, yo no me he sorprendido porque no es el primero que se va con la mano derecha.
He said he's not surprised. He's not the first one that goes out in the 6th round with his right hand.
Edwin, in your mind, have you totally recovered from the loss to Julio Cesar Chavez? Are you back to where you were?
Si te has recobrado de haber perdido con Julio César Chávez, si crees que estás ya de nuevo otra vez arriba.
Bueno, pues fíjate, déjame decirte que sí, porque hice 7 peleas a 10 rounds, que fueron de preparación. Ahora fue que volví a subir arriba y esta es la primera pelea por el campeonato mundial y ya la gané, así que estamos empezando.
He says that he's starting to get in shape, and that the 7 bouts that he had previously as a preparation for this one, he really helped him, and that he really feels that he's on the right way of fighting again.
Congratulations, champion. Thank you very much. Bill Caton, the manager, let me just ask one quick question.
Sure.
As the manager of Edwin Rosario, what do you want to see him do next in his boxing?
I'd like to see him defend the WBA title a couple of times before considering a unification fight.
With Pernell Whitaker, the IBF champion.
That's right.
Thanks very much, Bill. Congratulations to both of you. Let's go back to Dan Deerdorf at ringside.
Thank you, Alex. And how about if we take a look again at where the fight was won here in the 6th round by Edwin Rosario. Watch the big right hand, flicking out the left jab down to the body, and Edwin Rosario lands the big right to the chin of Anthony Jones. Jones would get back up and try to continue, but it only lasted about another 10 seconds. Well, as promised, we're going to bring you another fight. Last night on the outskirts of Paris,